Shalom, Mishpaka. Hallelujah. Family road trip, Mishpaka road trip. Hallelujah. Just wanted to be obedient to the Ruach and just give some insight today on the Pequot Massacre. So the title of this video is called the Pequot Massacre. But we're going into detail about the truth behind Thanksgiving, right? Going into the detail about that, because a lot of people just think, oh, well, they Hebrew and, they only keep, the Bible feast days, which is true. Hallelujah for that. But every other holiday, every other day that is quote unquote considered a holiday outside of truth, it's demonic. It's just what it is. Like, we don't do Satan. All those days are connected to Satan. They're connected to the worship of Baal, and they're connected to demonic things, okay? And around this time, right, so we got Thanksgiving, which is tomorrow, right? And then not too long after that, we got Tammuz Miss, Christmas, which is really Tammuz Miss, right? You got to understand the level of witchcraft that's behind. Oh, and it really starts with Halloween, which that's been passed a couple weeks ago. That had passed. But understand, they're all rooted in witchcraft, even going all the way to New Year's. But Thanksgiving is peculiar because a lot of people don't have the full truth behind the I guess where it came from, its origin or its root, right? A lot of people know about Christmas, a lot of people know about Halloween. Those are the more blatant demonic things, and again, they just put bandages over them to make them as if they're okay. But I'm gonna talk to y'all about the Pequot Massacre. So 1637, right, in a town in Massachusetts, right? There's variation depending on what historical references you look into, but there are many. One being The Lies My Teacher Taught Me by James Lowen. Excellent book where he goes into detail about this, but there are other books. They Came Before Columbus is another book. I'm just giving you historical resources that go into the truth behind what really happened with the Pequot Massacre. But make a long story short, town in Massachusetts, right? Native American village where the quote unquote settlers, right, European settlers, ended up coming to this area. And obviously there were battles, wars over the territory, the land, if you will. And when the European settlers that were in this area were like, okay, we have to figure out a way to get rid of these Native Americans that's here. They're not cooperating with us. In the beginning they were, but we see that this is becoming an issue. So what ended up happening? Well, if you do your research on the Pequot Massacre, you'll see that the European settlers pretty much enclosed an entire Native American village, the Pequot. That's the name of the village, the Pequot village. They enclosed it with soldiers, right? Cannons, whatever they was using during that time period. And they had soldiers in the front and the back to pretty much enclose the people. It was about between 400 and 500 people. Different accounts say different numbers, but it's anywhere between 400 and 500 people for sure. This is documented, right? They enclosed them and they set the village on fire. So it was a massacre of Native American people, women, children, men, all of that. And the following week on a Thursday, the governor of the region, right? Because again, they had to, in order to take possession of the entire region, for him to even call himself governor of that area, they had to kill those people. They had a feast. And there were no Native Americans at this feast. Contrary to popular belief, what they teach you in the American public school system, that the Pilgrims and the Indians, they sat down together. And no, that's not what happened. The Pequot Massacre, they killed the Native Americans from this particular town, which they were doing at a certain point. They began to do this all over the country, right? But that's really kind of where it began, if you will. In addition to this, they brought diseases, right? And this is also well documented as well. many diseases, right? Influenza, different things that the Native American immune system was not immune to. All these things were happening around the early 1600s, the early to mid 1600s, when the first quote unquote pilgrims came, the European settlers that came. So again, this is the true origin. The Pequot Massacre is the true origin to the Thanksgiving, or the quote unquote really the Thanksgiving holiday, which is why we refer to it as that, because of the massive genocide that was done on the indigenous Native American people here. So I want y'all to understand that that has nothing to do with giving thanks to our Elohim, the Most High Yah. Like, we don't thank him by committing mass genocide on a community. We thank him by keeping Torah. We thank him by keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. We thank him by keeping the Shabbat. This is what we do. And that's not bound to a quote unquote national holiday. All that stuff, I'm trying to tell y'all, all that stuff is demonic. So when you get a chance, research the Pequot Massacre of 1637, and you will see that all of this information verifies and it checks out. I know some of y'all gonna be mad at this video. I know some of y'all gonna still try to fight me and still, we're gonna keep our Thanksgiving and blah, blah, blah. Like, go ahead and do it, but just understand you're participating in a feast that is celebrating the massacre of the indigenous Native American people. The beginning of that. Because again, it kept going after that, but they just made that a national holiday eventually. And you can get all the details about when it became a quote unquote national holiday. But again, it started in that region, Pequot, Massachusetts. That's where it started, 1637. So, and again, this, along with all of the other holidays, they have their pagan, demonic roots, their origins. Thanksgiving just happens to be one of the newer ones, right? It just happens to be one of the newer ones. So I'm putting this out there for y'all to understand that when we say set apart, when we say don't go to Big Mama and them house for that turkey and for that stuffing and for the yams and for the macaroni, understand. In addition to that, they got ham and all the other abominations that they keep. Understand that you are participating in a celebration of genocide on really your own people. So no, we set apart from those things. We set apart from those things. We keep the feast days. Matter of fact, that's part of what this road trip is for. We preparing. We got Miss Crockett coming in to keep the feast of dedication. Hallelujah. Yahuwah's bringing the bet together on these times. So I just want to put that out there, man. Like, don't feel bad for not going around quote unquote family members during the season of the witch and participating in their demonic holidays. Like, you are set apart. Yahuwah is telling you, you don't be a part of that. Now, it's going to be a pull. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a pull, especially for those of you all who are newer to this truth, right? This your first year doing it. It's going to be a pull, but resist that pull. The word literally says, resist Hasatan and he will flee from you, right? So I just want to put that out there, man. We love y'all. Stay strong. Don't participate in the celebration of the Pequot Massacre. Participate in the Feast of Dedication that's coming up next couple weeks. Love y'all, family. Shalom.